number 10, we have Chris Tucker. The popular comedian and actor Chris Tucker, who starred in Friday and Rush Hour in the mid-90s through the very early 2000s. However, Tucker's life took a very serious turn in a different direction when doing the film Money Talks. He made a choice to stop appearing in the type of vulgar roles he felt that he had taken in the past. He sought a change in his life that would alter its direction forever. He became a born-again Christian and worked to grow his relationship closer to God. More recently, he has dabbled in the entertainment industry, but he has entirely let go of any foul language and profanities. Next, we're going to be looking at Angus T. Jones, who is recognized by most as the little boy from 2.5 Men. The child star grew distant from the show once his faith began to transform. Now, regardless of his success on the show and the money he undoubtedly made from it, he just seemed to get entirely fed up with it all. In a YouTube clip in 2012, after being baptized, he called the show filth and abandoned the show to work with the World Harvest Outreach Church in Houston and devoted his life to religion. He said later in an interview that while working on the show, he felt like a paid hypocrite, and it was difficult to be part of something that was making light of topics in the world that were problems for so many people. Though he has since apologized for calling the show filth, he stands by everything else that he has said about them. Moving on to number 8. Pakistani film actress and stage dancer Nargis disappeared from TV screens in 2012, announcing that she was quitting her acting and dancing career and was going to start practicing Islam. In an interview held at her home, Nargis said, "You can only become an artist when you renounce your identity. I have children of my own that I will have to answer to one day." She mentioned that she has also been referred to by some as the pioneer of vulgarity, but that from now on she would like to be seen and set the trend for the hijab, and invites others to do the same. Alright, making our way down to our next celebrity, Kirk Cameron. So the Growing Pains actor Kirk Cameron spent many years of his life as a die-hard atheist, though he was born-again Christian at the young age of 17 years old. So after his major transformation right in the middle of his run of this popular sitcom television show, he began to request that certain lines be removed from his script. He no longer approved of the lines that his character was meant to portray because they weren't in line with his newly found faith. When the show finally came to its end, he entirely let go of mainstream Hollywood, which gave him the mental, physical, and spiritual space to fall completely in love with evangelism. He hasn't had much of a presence in Hollywood since, but has appeared in a few Christian faith-based movies such as Fireproof. Alright, next we're going to be talking about Zaida Wasim. Zaida Wasim, Kashmiri Muslim and former Bollywood actress, caused a stir in India by announcing her decision to disassociate from the film industry. The actor took to Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter to declare that while her 5 years of being in the entertainment industry had brought her a lot of love, support, and applause, it had also led her to a path of ignorance as she had transitioned out of Iman, or faith, and her relationship with her religion. Her post actually made reference to a number of Quranic teachings and Islamic injunctions to reject worldly desires and to remember the purpose of our creation. Moving on to Montel Jordan. Ever heard of the ever so popular 90s anthem, "This is how we do it"? Well, that was all thanks to Mr. Montel Jordan. While that popular song is what most will still remember him by, he no longer wants to be known for his brief music career. So after having little success in releasing new music in 2010, he found himself trying to reconnect with his faith alongside his wife and children. Since then, he has stated that he would much rather be known for his newly found faith and work in the church. He even mentioned that all of this change came about when the Lord spoke to him and said that he needed to lay down his old way of life and put it in the past. He has since become a member of Victory World Church in Atlanta, and he is a worship minister. He actually took a small leap back into the music industry when he released the gospel album Shake Heaven. This brings us down to celebrity number 4, Junaid Jamshed. Junaid Jamshed originally gained his popularity as the lead singer of the group Vital Signs. The group released their first album in 1989, and the band still remains one of the most recognizable symbols of that era. Now, in 1987, he released the song Dil Dil Pakistan, the first indigenous Pakistani Western pop single ever. It featured on Pakistani television and was well received as a symbol for patriotism patriotism and nationalism for the new generation. Unfortunately, by 2003, he was struggling with his identity as a musician, both because of the changing music landscape of the time and his confusion over his belief system. He once said, "As soon as I got into music, my religious values all got washed away. I had lost the concept of humility. I had lost a connection with Allah." Soon after coming to this realization, Jamshed emerged as a preacher and charity worker. He traveled the world, first as a musician and then as an Islamic missionary. Unfortunately, he and his wife passed away suddenly in a plane crash on December 7, 2016. Friends and former colleagues paid tribute to him when news of the crash broke. Alright, this brings us to talk about Cat Stevens, our next celebrity. So Cat Stevens, British singer, songwriter, and multi-instrumentalist, made an incredibly abrupt runaway from his music following his near drowning in 1976. After the near-death experience, he felt the need to entirely change and uproot everything in his life. Stevens then made a sudden conversion to the Islamic faith and completely turned away from the music industry. He changed his name to Yusuf Islam, for which he is still known to this day. Now, it did take quite a bit of time, but he finally found his way back into music some years later and now sings secular music. However, most of his efforts remain concentrated on worldwide charities and supporting disaster relief causes. Alright, working our way down to celebrity number 2. This brings us to Vanity. Now, Vanity was a Canadian singer, songwriter, dancer, and model and actress known for being Prince's female protege. She was the lead singer of Vanity 6, popularly known for their hit Nasty Girl and racy performances. After years of substance addiction in the late 80s and almost dying from its effect, she turned away from her music and acting career to find God and was born again. She said in an interview, "With the devil breathing down my neck, trying desperately to snatch and strangle me for hell, I repented." From that moment on, she lived religiously as an evangelist and went by her real name, Denise Matthews, until her death in 2016. And bringing us down to our final celebrity of today, and probably the most shocking as of recent news, today's celebrity for number 1 is Sana Khan. Now, Sana Khan is a former Indian actress, model, and dancer. Khan began her career in modeling and went on to appear in advertisements and feature films. She was also a finalist on the reality show Big Boss in 2012. On October 8, 2020, Sana Khan announced that she has quit the film industry. Taking to Instagram, the actress shared that she now wants to serve humanity and follow the orders of her creator. Sana shared the news via a long note, which she posted in Hindi, English, and Urdu, addressing her followers. The actor stated that she was at a crucial juncture of her life. She said that for the last few days, she had been pondering over the real purpose of her existence. She then went on to share that when she tried searching for answers for these questions in her religion, she realized that the purpose of life in the world is actually for the betterment of life after death. Sana felt that it was better to follow the command of the Creator than making wealth and fame her only goal in life. She concluded her statement by saying, "Therefore, I declare today that from today onwards, I have resolved to say goodbye to my showbiz lifestyle forever and serve humanity and follow the orders of my Creator." Alright, starting at number 10, we have Barka Madan. Be it name, fame, money, or recognition, Bollywood actress Barka Madan, a 1994 Miss India finalist and Miss Tourism Worldwide runner-up, had it all. But the lure of the glamour life only developed a void within her. In her quest for the ultimate truth and happiness, Barka renounced everything showbiz and embraced Buddhism in November of 2012 when she was ordained as a Buddhist nun and changed her name to Gayalton Samten. She shared that it was not about having material things, but being dissatisfied with them, and this dissatisfaction was getting crazier. I chanced upon a few books on Buddhism and met with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, which changed my definition of freedom. As long as you are in samsara, you will very much be a part of the joyride. The only way out of the matrix is renunciation. Now, since taking her monastic vows, Barka feels that her life has changed drastically. Next, we have Anu Agarwal, who started her career as a model in the 1980s and even went to Paris and New York for modeling gigs. This led to her becoming a well-known figure in India after after which she was seen in the Hindi film industry as an actress. But from the early stages of her career, Anu reportedly felt like she did not belong to the world of glamour and was always uncomfortable with the stardom. It was reported that when Anu was at the peak of her career, she felt very unhappy and felt disconnected from herself. So, in 1995, she took a break from the world of glamour and took up traveling for 2 years. Sadly, in 1999, the actress found herself in a hospital bed after a horrible car crash. She was in a coma for about 29 days and had broken about a dozen bones. All this reportedly took a toll on her body. After coming out of the coma, she had lost all her permanent memory and was also recovering from the physical injuries. After months of bed rest, she began to treat herself with yoga. It took about 3 years for her to totally recover, and she credited yoga for making her fully physically recovered. After the memory loss, she reported feeling like a 2-year-old child, and Anu has called this a second life in her interviews. Moving on to our next celebrity, Saqib Khan. Roadies Revolution contestant Saqib Khan decided to quit showbiz for religious reasons. Taking to Instagram, the Kashmir-born actor shared how he was going astray and lacked peace in life, which led him to surrender to the Almighty. In a long note, Saqib Khan informed his followers that he would not be taking up any modeling or acting assignments anymore. Further reasoning his decision to let go of showbiz, he added, "In a nutshell, I was going astray and was going against my tenets of Islam. I used to offer namaz, but something was lacking, and that was sukoon and my ability towards Allah. So now I totally surrender before Allah." You may have heard of our next celebrity, Feroz Khan. As a popular and quickly rising celebrity, it was a surprise when Pakistani actor Feroz Khan took to social media to announce that "My fans have been waiting for a statement from me. I announced that I quit showbiz and the industry and will only act and provide my services for the teaching of Islam through this platform if needed. Else anything but this, inshallah. Request you all to pray for me and my loved one." Now, he had been hinting at a spiritual transformation of sorts for some time. In fact, he had even deactivated his Instagram for religious reasons. Next, we have Halima Aden, the first hijab-wearing supermodel, who quit the fashion industry in November, saying it was incompatible with her Muslim religion. In an exclusive interview, she told BBC Global Religion how she became a model and how she reached the decision to walk away. Others have described her as a trailblazing hijab-wearing supermodel, or as the first hijabi model to feature on the cover of Vogue magazine. But she left all that behind. Her hijab meant the world to her, but as time went on, she seemed to have less control over the clothes she wore and started agreeing to head coverings that did not meet her expectations of dressing modestly. While her career was seemingly on top to most, she was actually mentally not happy. In November, she decided to give up both modeling and her role with UNICEF, as they did not align with her religious beliefs and practices. She further stated that, "I'm grateful for this new chance that COVID gave me. We're all reflecting about our career paths and asking, does it bring me genuine happiness? Does it bring me joy?" Well, Halima, we certainly wish you many blessings as you prioritize your faith, doing what brings you joy. All right, bring us halfway in our list, we have Ms. Nina. In 2013, Shazrina Azman, aka award-winning singer and songwriter Ms. Nina, still had her sights set on the big time. Having taken Malaysia by storm, she began breaking into the international scene, performing with the likes of US hip-hop star Flo Rida and Justin Bieber. At 34, she has a successful fashion line and was named a Malaysia ambassador by the Malaysian Prime Minister for contributions towards nation building. However, while her dreams were getting bigger during the peak of her career, she felt a void. a voice telling her that something was missing. It was ultimately the Hajj she performed in late 2013 with her husband that was to completely transform her life. It was this trip that gave her the clarity she was seeking. She began fully practicing Islam, wearing the hijab, and has not looked back since. Although she was born a Muslim, today she feels like a convert. Ms. Nina also mentioned that I feel so blessed that Allah has shown me the right path. I don't regret the move that I made and the path I've chosen. A lot of people can use my story as a way to inspire them to come closer to the deen. All right, taking us over to another continent, we have Dave Chappelle. So for 2 glorious seasons, Dave Chappelle delivered some of the best sketch comedy ever made on his landmark Comedy Central series, Chappelle's Show. And no surprise, the show was a massive hit, to the point where the network offered the comedian $50 million to keep going. At that point, the unthinkable happened. He walked away. Yes, that's right. Famous comedian Dave Chappelle suddenly disappeared from showbiz back in 2005. Chappelle eventually did confirm that he was having a hard time living up to the pressure of his own fame. He said, "I didn't like the direction of the show, so I decided, let me remove myself from this situation." At that point, he took a break in his career to attempt to perform Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca required of all Muslims. But he only got as far as Turkey because he didn't have a visa to Saudi Arabia. He has since stated that, "I want to make sure I'm dancing and not shuffling. Whatever decisions I make, I'm going to have to live with. Your soul is priceless. I want to make sure whatever I do has spirit." And next we have Mace. A very special welcome back is in order for iconic 90s hip-hop star Mace. Born Mason Durrell Betha, he has officially been named as the new pastor of Gathering Oasis Church, a non-denominational Christian church in Atlanta, after famously departing from the music industry to become an ordained minister in 1999. Now, he has dropped new music sparingly in the years since. His last official single was his track Nothing, which he dropped in 2014. Mace also hit the stage as part of a Bad Boys tribute to salute Diddy, 51, who received the esteemed Clive Davis Icon Award during Davis's iconic pre-Grammy Gala. Mace was excited to share the news on his announcement post on Instagram. "Thank you. Also, tag someone who is expecting something great from God and let them know that God has already started answering prayers in 2021. Tag someone looking for a new church family, and remember, all people are welcomed at the Go Church." Well, we wish you all the best in your new role. Up next, we have Monica, or MG Rahima. Famous young Indian actress Monica decided to leave the life of lights behind, choosing to revert to Islam, wearing the hijab, and quitting the film industry in May of 2015. "I don't convert for the reason of love or money. I am not such a person. I like the Islamic principles, so I converted to Islam," she was quoted saying by Muslim Mirror. Furthermore, she said, "Hereafter, I won't act in film, and while it gives me some pain, I won't change my mind." According to Indian media, Monica's decision was announced during a news conference in which she released photos showing her wearing traditional modest dress and a hijab. Changing her name to MG Rahima, she did not reveal specific reasons behind her decision to join the world's fastest growing religion. And last but not least, down at number 1, we have Mutta Bayal, or Napoleon. Mutta Bayal has seen it all. Bayal, best known to gangster hip-hop fans as Napoleon, converted to Islam after leaving his previous life in the United States and headed to Saudi Arabia, where he now sells coffee. After an 11-year journey as a rapper that saw him sell more than 4 million records, he told Al Arabiya that it was finally time to let it all go. "I joined Tupac when I was only 15 years old. I wrote lyrics and sang as part of the crew. After he died, I joined another where I was able to find some success. Under my leadership, we sold 40 million copies of one of the albums worldwide. I earned huge amounts of money, owned luxurious cars, private jets, mansions, and all the false pleasure that you can ever dream of. When I decided to retire, I had to pay the fines resulting from the termination of my contracts with the recording companies, and that's what drove me to the starting point. Bayal, who lived a life of hardships after his parents' death during his childhood, had to sell everything he owned. He then converted to Islam in 2001. He opened his own coffee shop in Ras Al Khaimah in the UAE and plans to open a coffee cart service company in Saudi Arabia's Riyadh.